President Higgins, Mrs. Higgins, guests and fellow young philosophers. My name is Lily Thoreau and I am here to talk to you about the study of philosophy in secondary school with my classmates Isabelle, Jenny and Sarah from Our Lady's School in Terenure. As transition year students, we were given the opportunity to choose philosophy as an 8-week block, which sadly ended this week. I had heard of philosophy before and had an idea of what it was like, so decided that it was a subject I would be interested in. I definitely don't regret taking the class, and I look forward to attending it every week. Our teacher, Miss O'Brien, doesn't refer to us as a class, but as a community, and doesn't refer to us as students, but as philosophers. Often in school lessons, we are taught to ask questions that have simple answers that you can calculate yourself and are definitely accurate. But in philosophy, we are encouraged to ask the why questions. This is where philosophy differs from other classes. In philosophy, it is okay not to find an exact answer by the end of class. In some ways, it is almost better if you don't, as it shows that there can be several answers to one question that seems simple. Philosophy is looking into a topic and asking simple but effective questions. I like that the word philosophy comes from two Greek words which translate to the love of wisdom. Some of the earliest philosophers asked similar questions to the one we do today, trying to find a moral or a meaning in life. So what do we do in philosophy class? Well, first of all, the students in the class sit in a circle and we are shown a stimulus. This stimulus could be something like a video of a speech or a reading from a storybook. The idea of the stimulus is to get you thinking of a certain topic and to get the creativity flowing. We think alone, then share our thoughts in small groups. When everyone has shared what they wanted to say, the class vote on one key question to focus on. This is when it gets very interesting. The orange squishy ball is taken out and thrown around the classroom, symbolising your turn to speak. We start on the first question that was voted, and usually by the end of the class, we have filled whiteboards on the walls around the classrooms completely with ideas and thoughts. The original question always leads to new questions, and the important thing is that the class never judges you for what you say. Sometimes it takes a moment for the class to warm up, but after only a few minutes, there is a queue of people waiting for their chance to hold the squishy orange ball. Just in case there is ever an event where someone feels offended by something said, there is a yellow duck that you are free to place on the floor and the issue will be discussed and sorted out. Luckily enough, this did not happen in any of our philosophy classes this year. I honestly feel like I've benefited from taking part in philosophy class this year. I have actually found myself thinking deeper into subjects or concepts that in the past I would have skimmed over or totally overlooked. You learn a lot about yourself as a person in philosophy. You learn about what you believe in, even though it may be obvious to some. In philosophy, you learn that even though stories may be small, there can often be huge meaning behind them. Your job as a philosopher is simply to find this meaning through asking questions. I honestly believe that there is a reason behind everything on this earth, and that this class helps you bring out more of those reasons every week.
Hello, my name is Isabelle McLaughlin and I'm here to consider what is philosophy. Well, according to our good friend Google, it is the study of the basic ideas about knowledge, right and wrong, reasoning and the value of things. Now I know that sounds like a mouthful, but I now understand that philosophy is actually really simple. Philosophy is the art of thinking. It's about taking a topic to its roots and asking the bigger, deeper and juicier questions. Philosophical questions are creative, careful, critical and collaborative. They're constructive. They're the questions we dare to ask, though we may never be answered. It allows you to think in different perspectives to make the big picture smaller and more real. For us, working in groups is essential. When asking a philosophical question, you need to listen. Taking into account the ideas of your peers, we work constructively, opening up and expanding our minds, encouraging each other to think outside the box. Personally, I'd heard about philosophy before I chose it last year, and I was interested in benefiting from it in the long run. I was intrigued to know more about the subject and what it might do for me. At the beginning of each class, we push the tables aside and make a huge circle of chairs. In fact, we don't actually call ourselves a class. As a whole, we call ourselves a community. This is because we believe that we all have certain attitudes, interests, some similar and some different, and our strength lies in combining our thoughts. At the start, we play a quick communication game that involves listening to each other without actually talking. Now, I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but paying really real attention to each other helped us settle into our community. I encourage you to seek out your community. As a philosopher, I urge you to seek out what seems impossible, embrace the unknown, and to always ask why.
My name is Jenny Lynch. I first heard about philosophy at our transition year subject choice talks, and like Isabelle, I was intrigued at the prospect of hearing lots of different people's opinions. I was interested in doing philosophy as it is unlike any other subject our school has to offer. Often in school, we are taught. We learn the who, what, where, and when. Very rarely are we asked to consider the why, or if, or should. This is where philosophy is different. In my opinion, the most important who you learn about in philosophy is yourself. You discover what you believe in, where your morals lie, and when the views of others open up views you didn't know you had. Tapping into your moral compass and establishing your opinion are very important in philosophy class. This means that respect is very important when doing philosophy in secondary school. My class are very respectful of each other's views and opinions. This means that everyone can feel comfortable to dive deep into questions. To find a topic to discuss, we first listen to or watch a stimulating piece of film, part of a book or some poetry. Then we have a few minutes to gather our thoughts in silence. This allows us to collect our initial thoughts on the stimulus and begin to create questions about, from, and around it. Then we write some of our thoughts, which I think is really important. I find that some thoughts are only tangible on paper. It can take us a few minutes to warm up to the question, but we usually run out of time. The questions we ask often have several answers and lead to more questions. This is what makes philosophy so interesting. The discussions often get so intense that we are disappointed when the lunch bell rings.
My name is Norris. Like Jenny, I first came upon the subject of philosophy last spring when I was choosing my subjects for transition year. We were given a talk by a teacher, Miss O'Brien, describing the class and what we might do. I found out that we might discuss a different topic each week. I liked the idea that everyone was able to voice their opinions, so I would get to hear other people's opinions and what they thought. One of the questions we discussed in class was, what makes me, me, us, and you? We're still thinking about it. The last few weeks have been amazing. This class really opened my eyes to what I think about different topics, to opinions on topics that I never thought about before. Not only that, other people's views really opened my mind, made me think about the way I think, made me question how I view situations. I know a lot more about myself now, about what makes me, me, and what's important to know, and what makes you, you. I'm not sure whether there is an us, and if that means there has to be a them. I'll keep thinking about it. Philosophy class tries to get you to answer the really difficult why questions. It's a really thrilling class, and before you know it, your head is on overload with all the different questions and answers. The class itself has made a real impact on me, and it has given me a new perspective. Now when someone asks me a question, I think about it for a minute before I answer. This way, I get to process the question and give a reasonable answer, but still get my point across. I hope that, like me, when you are next asked a question, you will think about it first philosophically. Thank you.